So it looks like we're live, Jen. Is that right?
Yes, Jim, you're live.
She hates when I do that.
Welcome to the Jim and Larry Show.
Is that what we're calling it now? That's what we're calling it for right now.
For right now, but stay tuned for a name change.
Right. Lucky number 5.
Yes.
I think we'll be great. All right. So welcome, everybody. Today is Monday. It's time for another installment, whether you are ready or not.
Here we are.
For the Jim and Larry Show. And we've got really just a handful of things to talk about tonight. And Larry, I'm going to kick it over to you if that's okay. We were talking the other night about what extreme ownership means. So there's a lot of people that toss around the word extreme or 10x or 5x or 3, whatever. But they talk about extreme. And I'm curious for you to share what your version of extreme ownership is, and then I want to talk about how we apply those principles every single day.
Sure. So extreme ownership, I can summarize it in one word. It equals freedom.
It equals freedom. Okay,
no, the word is freedom.
Oh, gotcha.
Well,
I just thought we might have to work on that.
Yes, freedom. Now, do you want me to explain why I chose the word freedom? Sure.
Senor Cone.
See. Okay, we got back from Mexico. That's why we're doing a little spangle. Okay.
What's spangle?
That's Spanish, English, and French.
Oh.
Okay.
No, go ahead. It's fine.
Extreme ownership is freedom, and because when you own everything about your life, meaning when you own your financial situation, your relationship situation, when you own your health situation, when you own everything about where you are in life, ownership means that you control it. So that means at any point you can shift, you can navigate, you can do a U-turn, you can do whatever you want to get to the next place. Without ownership, it's really hard to do that because that means you need what I call other cooperative components. So you need your wife or your kids to behave in a certain way for you to be happy. You need the government to behave in a certain way for you to feel safe. You need the bank or credit unions or to behave in a certain way for you to feel you have economic viability. You need your boss to behave in a certain way so you get satisfaction and compensation at work. So anytime that your happiness is contingent on forces outside of you, you don't have ownership of where you are. You are dependent upon someone or something else to make you happy, satisfied, fulfilled. When you have extreme ownership, you take control of the situation and you have freedom.
I like that. That seems like a good explanation. I think it really defines who you are. For the people that might be listening, you know, my mom, your mom,
right?
One of the kids, those 3 that are tuning in to this show for right now, what are some of the things that you have identified? And before I say that, I want to preface this in the fact that all of us are going through something. And you never know what the person across from you, next to you, is going through. But chances are they're going through something that in their life could either make or break them at any time. And they're always afraid, and I'm no different, and I think you're no different, that sometimes you let those fears creep in.
Yes.
Of, if I'm not careful, this could break me. But you have a unique way, and after knowing you now for a decade almost, I've developed a way to take those situations that may break the average person and use them to drive and motivate. So the preface in this is it doesn't matter what you're going through. We're all going through something. It matters that you take what you're going through, you find a way to leverage that to your benefit. You know, in a company that we worked with before, they used to say, don't make your reason why your reason why not.
Yes.
And some of the examples of that would be where I've got this great thing I've got to do, but I've got the kids.
Right.
Right? And like the kids are a disease. I got a case of the kids. I better wash them off before they spread like COVID. Instead, the answer should be, oh my God, I've got this great thing I have to that I get to do because I've got the kids.
Yeah, or because I want to set a role model for my kids, or I want to set an example for my kids. So you said a lot of things, a lot of great things. I just want to maybe summarize it into 3 points. First, I really liked what you said when you said you don't know what the person sitting next to you is going through, or the person driving next to you, or the person in the same room as you. You don't know what they're going through. So one of the things that I've done in my life is I've always assumed the best because I don't know. So for example, and it's hard all the time, but for example, someone is driving down the road and they cut me off, or they flip me off, or they do something else. I don't want that person to take away my happiness and throw me offline. So I just assume that person's had a really bad day, and in some way that form of venting helped them release some negative energy. But instead of me getting mad at them or dropping to their level and saying F you and this and that would give that person the power. So I always assume the best about anyone else that I am meeting, or at least I make an attempt to. The second thing...
Time out.
Yeah.
I have to interrupt you because we are obviously dramatically different in how we convey messages. We think a lot alike.
Yeah.
But people that know you and me, they're like, Jim,
right?
Jim's an a-hole.
Yeah,
they don't know you,
right?
You've got some qualities, but so it just piggybacking on what you said, I assume they're going to hit a pothole soon, and I'm going to watch pieces of their tire go flying,
yes,
which makes me happy,
right?
But I still don't give them any energy. I just wait for karma to take over. Is that bad?
I mean, it's unusual. But no, I mean, it's not bad. And I don't really know if you really think that deep within you. That might be an outer reaction, but I don't know if the inner being of you really wants
their tire to pop.
Right.
I mean, I don't want them to get hurt.
Right.
But $195 penalty for flicking me off to put a new tire on.
Yeah, so that does, in my opinion, that does throw your energy off, because anytime you're wishing ill will on someone else, you're
But that to me is goodwill for me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm throwing off your
right.
whole
No.
message.
I would just say it's not. You may think it is, but it's really not. So there might be the
time for the U-turn.
The satisfaction that you're getting from that it doesn't come from an authentic place.
I authentically feel it at the time, though.
That I don't disagree with.
All right. So you had a part 2 and I interrupted. So do you remember what it was, or did I really throw you off?
Yeah. So that's my comment on you never know what the person is going through next to you.
For sure.
So I always assume the best. So that's number 1. Number 2.
Now I feel bad about the broken tire thing. I don't really want your tire to break, everyone. Anyway,
see,
go ahead.
I told you. Number 2. Shoot, now my train of thought is gone.
Keep your mouth on the microphone.
My train of thought is gone.
Keep your mouth on it, Larry. Okay. So you never know what the person next to you.
Yeah, I do my best. I'm not saying that sometimes I don't want them to hit the pothole too, but I do my best, and I try to teach my kids to always just assume the best. You don't know if that person just lost a relative to death. You don't know. So I find that when I'm kind to others, I'm kinder to myself, because I will tell you, there's times that I've accidentally cut someone off, or there's times that I've been at a stoplight and didn't notice and someone's honking behind me and things like that. So I didn't mean it, I didn't mean to do it. So I just try to spread that goodwill.
All right, so I've got a funny story about you that you just made me think of. So Larry has an incredible life. For those of you that don't know him, and he's had crazy ups, crazy downs. I've had crazy ups, crazy downs. But I just remember the look on Larry's face. He lives in a hotel. In one of his places, in a condo in a hotel. So he lives in a hotel, which is really kind of one of my lifelong dreams. But So Larry came home one night, and for those of you that have ever ridden with Larry, his parking is subpar at best.
Wait, I don't think so.
And he comes in, and there's a note on his car
Oh, yeah.
that says,
Nice.
and I quote, "What kind of asshole not
Right.
only takes up one handicap parking spot, but two?" So there's these handicap parking spots that go like this. For those of you on the podcast, it's hard to understand, but they go like this. But there's poles here and here. So Larry pulls in, takes up both handicap parking spots on accident,
Yes.
and somebody put a note on your door. And that just, on your window, that made me think of you
Yes.
now with you never know what the average person is going for, and you try and be kind to yourself.
Right, I do. So the part 2 of this is
You just moved right on. Fair, go ahead.
no. I remembered there were 3.
That was my goal.
Oh, okay, well you achieved it.
Yay. Hola,
Yay,
Lali.
Jim.
Okay.
Yeah. So part 2 is what I've learned has come through my own experiences. Meaning, I've been homeless for a couple different times. I've been, living what they call pillar to post. I've had no income. I've, eaten scraps off the street, so to speak. I've been hungry. I've been all that stuff. But what I learned during that time is what I learned during that time is the power of focus. And that means anything I give my attention to became more real and more magnified in my life. So even though I was hungry and I didn't know where I was sleeping, it was fall and the leaves were pretty. And I remember just making a decision one day that I was going to spend more time looking at the gold and the reds in the leaves than thinking about where I was, because I couldn't change where I was, but I could change what I was thinking about for that moment. And when I changed my thoughts, I just became a little bit happier. Didn't change that I was homeless, but I became a little bit happier. And sometimes people don't realize that they have the power to become happier at any moment in time by just shifting the attention of where they're giving their thought to. That was huge for me. Huge. And it serves me.
And I've seen you do that.
Yeah, it serves me well this day, and it's something that I've tried to share with my children and my grandchildren, is that you can't control conditions, but you can choose your point of focus. And when you choose your point of focus, you can create a little bit softer ride for you and a little bit happier place. So that's really fun for me to do, is to be in a dark zone and somehow find the comfort of the dark zone.
Yeah, the little bit of light that exists, because there's always
Yeah.
light. It's funny. I've heard people say, and I've said, and I know you've said, but thoughts are things, and they truly are, because whatever you put your attention on, whether you believe in law of attraction or not, it's going to work.
Yes.
So it's kind of like the kid walking across the dock, and the mother says, "Don't fall in."
Yeah.
What happens next?
He
The
falls
kid falls
in,
in,
right,
right? Because they can't.
Yeah.
The body, the mind, the
Right.
spirit, whatever
Right.
you cling to,
Yes.
doesn't understand, can't, doesn't, don't.
Right.
Anything that is a negative, it will just take out.
Right.
So what that kid heard was, "Fall in."
Yes.
So he fell in. So
Absolutely.
it's about changing the wording and the way you view things
Yep.
to things. Instead of saying "don't fall in," say "stay on the dock."
Yes.
Focus on where
Yes.
you are.
Yes.
Hey,
Jim and I were on Vic Porcelli's show, Porcelli's Deli, earlier today, and I think.
Shout out to Porcelli's
Yes.
Deli.
Hey, Vic.
Hey, Vic. Yo, Vic.
I don't know if it was you that said this or Vic.
Was it brilliant?
It was.
Then it was me.
I thought it was brilliant.
Okay.
So what was brilliant is you were talking about how back in the old days, kids would swim in the Hudson River in New
That was
York.
George Carlin that said that.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, but and it was full of sewage and all the stuff, but they were fine. They didn't get sick from it. You know why? Because they didn't have the awareness that all that was bad.
Right.
Once all the press and all that, once you become aware that something isn't good for you, then it's just like you said, don't fall off the dock, you'll fall off.
Well, yeah, and you know what's funny about that is, and you went through this, there were really 3 people that went through this with me, and none of them more than you. But about a year ago, I went through a terrible medical situation, and I would joke because I was trying to figure out what was wrong with me, so I went to WebMD.
Oh, yeah.
And I would joke with people, and they'd say, "Well, what is it?" I said, "I don't know, but I went to WebMD. It turns out I've been dead for 3 weeks." Right?
Exactly.
Because
Yes.
when you read it, you're like, I have
Yes.
this and this and this, and the probability of survival is none.
Right.
I'm already gone.
Right.
So it's true. Thoughts are things, and you are a respondent to the conditions that are petitioned at you.
Well, that's brilliant.
And it's true. Oh yeah, right. Hold on.
Write that down.
Write that down. I'll just have to. I'll ask someone
later
close
what
to
that
me
meant.
if they could write that down and send it to me, because I'll forget. But it's true, and there are things that happen. Like you and I have recently started going to the gym.
Yes.
And it was really crazy how emotional I got the first time I was able to do the elliptical rider or the elliptical machine, whatever you call it, for 10 minutes. Because 3 years ago, I could do it for an hour.
Right.
A year ago, I couldn't do it for 3 minutes without, like, my legs giving out, and I literally fell off the machine at one point in time. So to be able to do it for 10 minutes, to come back,
is great.
It was super emotional. And, you know, one of the things I want to give a big shout out, because when I was going through that, I was looking for doctors and looking for things, and I couldn't find what I needed. And we've been talking about a guy recently by the name of Andy Fraschella.
Right.
Fraschella, I think I'm saying it right. But he is the co-founder, current CEO of Supplement Superstore, does a ton of podcasts. But I went in there, and what he says on his website is so true. I went in there, and I genuinely felt like the people that work there cared about me.
Definitely.
They're homegrown.
Yes.
They're St. Louis people. And I got these supplements, and I got things that made me feel better about myself and made me feel strong enough to come back. But the reason why I bring that up is because he has a program called Hard 75, or 75 Hard. Wow, sorry if I butchered that up. We'll correct it in the comments below. But the goal of that is to be able to go 75 days in a row as hard as you can, very strict, very restrictive, and go for your goals.
Right.
Whatever those goals are, to just bust it out. And you bust it out every single day, 75 days in a row, no excuses, no compromises. And we agreed for this first round to do what? What was our agreement for the gym?
28 straight days.
28 straight days. And it's going to be tough because Wednesday you go out of town.
But we're going to do it virtually.
We're going to do a collaborative workout via Zoom to make sure that we're there. But I bring all this up because it is about accepting the conditions that are given to you, or taking ownership of what's going on. And I really wanted to be able to, in this segment today, as we're going through, set up the fundamental, or I guess moreover the foundational basis for what the segment of our podcast, Extreme Ownership, is going to be about. It's 75 Hard. Thank you, John.
So can I just...
So you got to follow a diet, work out twice a day for at least 45 minutes, drink 4 liters of water, read 10 pages of a nonfiction good book every day, take a 5-minute cold shower, take progress photos every day, perform other unrelated random acts of kindness, or talk to someone in person. We should switch.
Yes.
You want to switch?
Yes.
We'll do that. We'll give you the details. We'll set our goals. We'll post them on the podcast page, and we'll go from there. But that's pretty amazing. But it's all over. I'm looking at these search results. It's in the UK. It's in all different kinds of search results here. But started from a local St. Louis guy.
Nice. Who
built Supplement Superstore and then subsequently First Form, to prominent, nationwide, recognized organizations, all based out of St. Louis.
You know, Jim, when I was homeless and broke, I was angry at a lot of people because I felt I had been taken advantage of. A lot of people owed me money. They didn't pay me when I'm sitting there homeless and broke. They didn't even send me $25. I was angry at my family for not opening their doors for me. I was angry at so many people, and as I talk about it, I even get more angry because I feel that I was taken advantage of and maybe even victimized. But I realized that would never help me get to the next level.
Right.
So what I want to say, what extreme ownership to me is, it's freedom. But here's 2 sentences that I use, and maybe this can be on our Facebook page. And I think it'll help everybody if you say this every day. Someone asked me, what do you say in the morning? Here it is. My happiness depends on me. Everybody else is off the hook.
Wow.
And that means that just says it all. If you want to know more, message me.
Yeah, say it one more time so everyone can
My
hear.
happiness depends on me. Everyone else is off the hook.
That's a fantastic
Thanks.
quote. And I think it really ties into the extreme ownership component.
It does.
So as we develop this podcast and our message, what do you want to say to those that might be trying to better understand what extreme ownership should be for them? What are the baby steps of this
and
for you, Larry?
Gosh, I am so. Sometimes we're really in sync, and sometimes we're not. Like Jim said, we're really different.
Keep your mouth on it.
Okay, but that is exactly what I was going to say. It's baby steps. Like you get there just a little bit more today, a little bit more tomorrow, just a little bit. Doesn't have to be giant leaps. You don't have to be perfect. Just a little more, and before you know it, you've created momentum, and then things begin to flow faster. So what are some of the baby steps you can take is, number 1, make a decision that nothing is more important than your happiness. That the purpose of my life is joy and happiness. That's what it is. So anytime that things that happen to me that are not happy and that upset me, that's when I take just a little shift in the focus. And I don't mean that I can go from 100% of some situation that is really troubling to me to 100% happy, but I can go from 100% of a situation that's troubling to me to 97% that's troubling to me. And then I can take it to 95, and then I can take it to 93, and then I can take it to 89. So I take it incrementally in small steps. I had a newsletter that I wrote a while back for Next Core called The Positive Power of Negative Emotion. And so many...
I loved that.
Yeah, so many people today are like, think positively, think positively, think positively. And I'm like, I can't think positively. I'm broke. I'm homeless. Like, I can't think positively. But what I can do is I can use the power of negativity, meaning I'm in such a negative place right now, and I can build off that negativity. And specifically what I mean by that is when I was broke, I knew more clearly than ever that I wanted wealth. When I was hungry at night, I knew more clearly than ever that I wanted food. So I didn't jump from being hungry to being satisfied, but I jumped from hungry to knowing what I want. And when you know what you want, you have clarity.
For sure.
And clarity feels good. So there is such power in negative emotion because negative emotion often births clarity, and clarity is good.
Trying to move myself up so I'm closer to Larry.
I love this conversation.
Yeah. So can I creep a little bit inside your soul here and prepare people for what I think I'd like to dive into in the next couple of weeks? So when Larry talks about being in a dark place and I talk about being in a dark place, we've been in some dark places. And I imagine some of you are in dark places now. And if you're okay with it, in the next couple of weeks, I'd like to really dive into just how dark some of those places got and what it took to take ownership. Because I love what you said about, the baby steps. The first one is make a decision that nothing is more important than your happiness. But I think you missed the second step.
Sure.
The second step is after you make a decision, you have to take action based on that decision.
Yes.
And sometimes the best action to take is not take the action that you were thinking of taking.
Yes.
And it's a scary place when things are falling apart. And we'll really dive into that in the next week or two. But extreme ownership is about accepting where you are and accepting that nobody got you there but you. Every decision that you made,
right,
good or bad, positive or negative. It had nothing to do with Donald Trump or Barack Obama or Lyda Cruzan or Sam Page or any other politician that you can fit in there. Everybody is where they are because of the choices that they made. Even tragedy.
Yes.
Where, in fact, I know we were about to move off subject, but we were watching an episode of The Prophet.
Yeah.
A couple of nights ago. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Larry and I are watching The Prophet. We were going to go to the casino, but we were watching The Prophet, and that took precedent over going to the casino. And what was so amazing about this is you've got a family business that's a father-son, and the reason why the business existed is because the mother was killed in 9/11.
Yeah, and they used the money that they got from her to start the business.
Right. And from that situation that was obviously no fault of hers, but ultimately she chose to step foot inside the World Trade Center that day. And that may be a controversial statement, but it's a real statement. You are where you are as a result of every single choice that you've ever made in your life. And you can't change it. So be thrilled with where you are, because at least you know.
I love that.
Yeah. Think about the unempowering feeling. Think about this. You're in your car, and you turn on the GPS, and you realize you don't have internet. So it can't figure out where you are.
Oh, God.
And therefore, if you don't know where you are, it can't tell you where to go.
Oh, right.
So be grateful.
That's...
Like, take it in that you know where you are, because when you know where you are, you know how to get where you want to go. But the GPS, the inside, that Wi-Fi signal, that internet signal, is extreme ownership.
Spot on, Jim Shelby.
Thank you, Larry Cohn. Hola, Larry.
Hola, Jim.
Okay, anyway, so take extreme ownership.
Yeah.
But before we do that, we want to hear a word from a couple of our sponsors. We're going to hear from Denali first, and then Twins Red Carpet, I think. So, did you know Denali delivers? Hear all about it.
Denali delivers. Here's how it works. Make a list of what you need. We source from Home Depot or the hardware store of your choice. Text the list to 314-499-2992 to start your order. Then, Denali delivers your order on the scheduled delivery date. Denali delivers.
Your car cost a fortune. If it's not looking that way, there's a way to turn back the clock and turn up the value. Schedule regular car detailings with Twins Red Carpet Wash. Whether you need to maintain, restore, or completely revive your ride, Twins will dramatically transform any car disaster. Twins offers top-notch customer service and quality cleaning. You'll enjoy walking the red carpet every time you drop off your car. Call now and experience Twins Red Carpet Wash, simply the best car detailing service in St. Louis. Find out why Twins Red Carpet Wash has a 5-star Google rating and stellar Google reviews. Get your car washed and leave a review to receive a discount on your next wash. It's not clean until Twins says it's clean. Perfection in auto detailing is just a call away. Contact Twins at 314-391-9100 to book your appointment. Learn more about Twins' complete selection of service at twinsredcarpet.com.
Hi, I'm Twin. This is my company, Twins Red Carpet Auto Detailing. Can't wait to book you for an appointment.
We are back. We're back a little bit early. Premature cancellation by Jen, but it's fine. I'm going to have a little fun here.
Okay.
And we're going to. I Googled some things I bet you didn't know.
Oh.
And there's some extreme ownership inside of here and a little bit of fun. And some of it just makes me happy. It exemplifies karma. So here's the first little known fact. And I just want your response, Larry. Are you ready?
Yes.
The founder of Pringles was buried in a Pringles can.
No.
Did you know that?
I did not
No,
know
this
that.
is a real fact.
Okay. No, I had no idea. Was it sour cream and onion?
Wow. Salt and vinegar, I think.
Oh.
Anyway, so little known fact. Anyway, here's another one.
That's consistency in marketing.
Yes. Once you pop, you're dead. Okay. Here's an interesting one, and I think this is there's a business lesson in here. Are you ready? Walt Disney decided to put trash cans no more than 30 steps apart in Disneyland after observing guests in other parks and averaging about how many steps a person was willing to take before just dropping the trash on the ground. Have you heard that before?
No, I haven't.
But it is interesting because
That's about
a lot of people... Look, let's just be real. A lot of people would be pissed off about it. And they're like, why are they throwing the trash in there? He looked at it and said, here's the problem. We know the statistics.
Right.
Now we'll solve it. Anyway, here's another interesting one. The first person sentenced to the stocks in Boston was Edward Palmer, the builder of said stocks. His crime? Charging too much for building the stocks. That is karma. Take a look at that. If you can see that little image.
That's crazy.
There he is, locked in. Poor Edward. Anyway.
That's kind of you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Right. Here's a you're damned and it sucks. Are you ready?
Yes.
The founder of Match.com, Gary Kremen, lost his girlfriend to a man she met on Match.com.
That's great.
He's like, I should have created Tinder.
Right.
Anyway, in 1985, a New Orleans man drowned at a party attended by 100 lifeguards. They were celebrating going an entire summer without a drowning in a city pool. These are interesting things. Ampersand and mean different things in movie credits. Two writers' names joined with an ampersand, that's the and symbol, means they collaborated, while and means they worked on the script at different times.
I had no idea.
I don't know if it's even relevant, but I found it interesting, so I thought I would Google it and share it with you today. So we're going to get into law of attraction here on the one after this next one. Okay. But listen here. In Holland's embassy in Moscow, two Siamese cats kept meowing and clawing at the walls of the building. Their owners finally investigated, thinking they would find mice. Instead, they found microphones hidden by Russian spies.
Wow.
Yes. That's not of any relevance, but this one is. In the entire state of Ohio in 1895, there were only 2 cars on the road. And these drivers of these 2 cars actually crashed into each other. So here's the actual picture of the crash. I got to get it on there. Here we go. I got to back up. There's the actual picture from the crash. I don't know why this is so... I really should not be allowed to do this ever again. There it is. Anyway, so here's something funny. And people say I'm a jerk, right? But President Lyndon B. Johnson owned an amphibious car, the Amphicar, and used it to scare guests by driving them into his lake screaming about brake failure.
That is good.
I would totally do
Jim would love that.
I would love that.
Yes.
Now I need an Amphicar.
Right.
So this is something we shouldn't joke about during COVID times, but I felt compelled to joke about it
nonetheless, we will.
COVID times. Right. When The Princess and the Frog came out, 50 children were hospitalized with salmonella from kissing frogs.
Gosh.
So subsequently, the rest of the world was required to wear masks and not shop.
Ooh.
Too soon? I think that was it. Was that the end of our little story? Yeah, those are my 10 fun facts. So if you have fun facts, send them to us so we can share something much better than what I just shared. Anyway, so what's the moral of the story you took from that, Larry?
That I don't understand why they didn't ban frogs.
Oh.
Because, I mean, as long as there are frogs, there could be kids that want to kiss them, and so we should remove all frogs.
You know what we should do? We should take those 50 kids and put them in these stocks.
Yes.
And then if they still don't listen, we should bury them in a Pringles can or behind the walls. And then their parents, distraught, will hoped it would be. But let's talk about the adventures of Jim and Larry.
Love it.
So we just went and did some crazy adventures. Let's do a quick recap, and then let's update everyone why we're doing these, what we're doing next, or what we should do next, and go from there. So we just got back from Puerto Vallarta, or as the locals say, just Vallarta. They don't include the Porta. I don't know why, but they don't.
Or some say PV.
PV. This is true. So we were down in Puerto Vallarta, and what all did we do? I'll name a couple and then you name some. We zip-lined through the rainforest.
Yes.
We drove a dune buggy through mountainous puddles and drove through the rainforest.
Yes.
We went on a pirate adventure, which was amazing, by the way.
Yeah, we saw Cirque du Soleil performance on a
You saw a Cirque du Soleil
deserted
performance.
island with no electricity. That was pretty cool. It was lit by, I think, 3,000 to 4,000 candles.
Yeah, it was amazing.
But I think for me, the most adventuresome, we signed up for this outdoor adventure trip, and I never read the brochure. I just thought, I don't really know what I thought, but
You weren't thinking. Or
I
we would not have been
I
scaling
wasn't
mountains
thinking,
and rappelling
otherwise
down
I
mountains.
wouldn't have done it. It's kind of like the Hudson River sewage. If you don't know it exists, it doesn't hurt you.
Right.
So like I didn't know it, so I went blindly into it, but we went rappelling, we went ziplining, we went on a zipline roller coaster holding like
Handheld roller coaster.
handheld roller coaster, went down a 1,000-foot water slide. All climbed up.
Aerial surfboard over a
Yes.
1,000-foot
Oh my.
canyon.
Yes. Aerial surfboarding. It was
Extreme.
thrilling and scary and extreme. And I have a fear of heights. Like if I would have never done it. And the amazing part was I was the oldest one there by about almost 21 years.
And the lady in front
Yes.
of you said, I would never do this if I was 50.
50, right. She's like, I wouldn't recommend this for anyone at 50. And I said, I'm 61. So I was
But
really...
you also didn't get stuck, and she got stuck.
She got stuck four times. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
Again, metaphor for her life.
right.
suspect.
I mean, to me, that's what the adventures of Jim and Larry were. This was a brilliant adventure of both the mind and the body, because I had to use mind in matter to get through some of these things for me. But the funny part of it was, can I tell the funny part?
I don't know.
Well, okay. Well, I did all these things, and like I was feeling fine at the end of it. Like other people had like aches and pains that were sore. I'm like, I feel fine. And then on the boat ride back to the mainland, like we went over this wave, and my like butt was sitting obviously incorrectly on the seat, and it
Yes.
bounced up and it twisted my hip.
Larry broke a hip.
So it really hurt. But yeah, so
It's because you're over 50.
I know.
Right.
So, but the good thing was we found lots of massage places in Vallarta, and soon I was feeling a little bit better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
Moving on. So, like, why are we
What's
doing
ne-
this?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
why
so, I
are we
mean-
doing this? There's a lot of people. I love when Jen just starts laughing next to me and no one knows why. And no one knows she's laughing but me. And then I start laughing and people think I'm weird. Well, I am weird. Yes. Anyway, so why are we doing this? What's the psychological importance of this for you? I can tell you for me, but I want to hear
Yeah.
from you
So
first.
for me, this is the last 6 months have been a time when people are cutting back. People are restrictive about the places they go, the people they see. People are doing less. They're quarantining more. They're doing all this stuff. And I just remember, I don't remember how it evolved, but I just kind of remember talking to Jim, and I was like, let's do the opposite. Let's live life more during this time. And let's not only do it for us, because I really, really wanted to do it for myself. I'm like, I am tired of staying small. Like, I want to play large again. But I also just wanted to demonstrate it for other people that no matter what's going on and no matter where you are, that you own your life, that you can make what you want of it. So we've done some amazing traveling in the last couple of weeks. We have some incredible trips coming up, all
Where
at
are we looking?
all at a time when people are saying be careful, and that's for me. What about for you?
So, well, first of all, where are we looking? We just talked about, like, I think three cities that we're exploring right now to potentially
so
go
we're-
in 2 weeks or 3.
Yeah, so we're looking at going to Mongolia and outer China, Antarctica, and we're looking at going to Africa, but we've decided we're going to the Ozarks. No, just joking. My dad, that's an insight. My dad used to always say when I was in high school, people say, where are you looking at colleges? Oh, Harvard, Yale, Stanford. Where are you going? Oh, community college.
Right.
But anyways, sorry, folks. Yeah, so where are we looking? We're looking at Dubai, Singapore, Aruba. We're looking at maybe Thailand. We're looking at countries that are more friendly and accepting U.S. visitors. Obviously, there's restrictions, so we play within those restrictions.
I want to go to Wuhan. I heard the food is excellent.
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands. As long as the bat's clean before you eat it, it's fine.
So what's all this about for you?
Yeah, so for me, it was the last, I will say, 18 months have collectively been the best and the worst of my entire life. It's been a roller coaster of emotion and pain and physical challenge and rebuilding, rebirthing. And so for me, there's a song out called Live Like You Were Dying.
Right.
And honestly, for me, I was told I was dying. So, and while that was happening, I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I haven't even lived yet, and it's over. And I even told my kids goodbye. Like, it was like a rough spot. So then I started getting better. Then I started going through a divorce, right? So it's like ups, downs. And, what I want to do is I want to experience culture, and I want to experience the things that other people say that they can't do, because a year and a half ago I would have thought I couldn't do them either. So for me, for my children, it's about setting an example. And I remember for 4 years I was trying to remember this stupid phrase that I had heard, and I was like, it's whatever the brain thinks it can do, or something. I'm trying to remember it. And I'm on the phone with somebody one time, and I'm trying to remember it while I'm on the phone in my home office that I had for 4 years. And I'm literally on the phone, lean back in the chair and look up, and there's one of those motivational posters in a frame that's on the wall. And it had the phrase written on it that I had been trying to remember for 4 years.
Oh, nice.
And it was right there in front of my eyes the whole time. So this, for me, is about so many people wanting something that they already have access to, but not having the strength, the courage, the commitment, the desire to see what's right before them.
Yep.
And I want to be an example for someone to say, yeah, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for it while I've got the time, while I've got the strength, while I've got the ability, because someday, sometime, that ability, the time, the sands, the final ones will fall through the hourglass, so to speak. And I've always said the most expensive real estate on the planet is the graveyard. All the things undone, all the ideas not brought to fruition, all the products never invented.
Right.
And it's about showing people that no matter what struggle you're going through, you can overcome it. And there's other cultures. I take for granted the things that I have. When we were in Puerto Vallarta, we went into a place and they said, you know what, let's go next door because there's air conditioning.
Right.
And it was so surreal to me how much we take for granted in this country. They say that the saying first world problems.
Yes.
Well, you may have first world problems, but you can't appreciate them until you understand second and third world issues. So I also want to experience that. I want to bring my kids along for the ride. The first time I was out of the country, I was 40.
Right.
And I want my kids to go for a week here and a week there, and I want them to experience other cultures and learn things. I want them to learn Spanish from Spanish-speaking people. And I want to see all of those things happen for them, and I want to set the example for other people to follow us.
So let me ask you a couple questions.
Sure.
Number one, you're a small business owner.
Right.
Small business owners don't have big staffs. How do you run your business? So there might be people out there saying, well, gee, I'd love to go too, but I have a business to run. I have responsibilities here. How do you reconciliate that and make that work for you?
So the person next to me, her name is Jane Doe, if you're searching on Indeed for her. But what I will tell you, and this was really hard for me, is you find people in your staff that you can trust. You empower them to do what they're capable of doing. And then I'm going to let you in on the hardest secret of my life.
I know what
You
it
ready?
is already. Let go. Yes, I do that. Can I add one other thing?
Yeah.
I think, again, like there's so many good things that are coming out of COVID if we just allow ourselves to see them.
COVID, flat out, will be the best
Yes.
thing that ever happened
Yes.
to me.
So one of the good things that it taught me is
Not to be disrespectful to anybody
We
else.
used to do all our work one-on-one, face-to-face. Now, because of COVID, we've learned how to operate our business through Zoom meetings and Google Meetups. So while we're away, we can still conduct business at a similar level as if we were here, because COVID gave us a new way to approach our business, which then opened the doors for travel.
Yeah. Can we shift gears a little bit
Sure.
and then come back to that? So we are in, I don't want to say a fight because I don't think it's a fight, but right now we are having a disagreement with the city of St. Louis. And I want to talk about that for just a minute. For those of you that don't understand, the co-working business model, we're not landlords. But the easiest way to describe it is we're landlords, right?
Right.
It's kind of like a gym membership, but the difference is the membership takes the place of a lease. So we have roughly 100 businesses that at any one time have called NextCore home. Each of those businesses have a right to be here. They pay for the right to be here. They own and operate their own business.
Right.
They have their own address. The only thing that they share in common is the front door. Very similar to an apartment complex that somebody walks into. And we received a call or a visit from the health department for the city of St. Louis because somebody in here that was an independent business owner was not wearing their mask. And my response was, it is not our ability, responsibility, requirement. We can't police what the business does.
Can you police your employees?
I mean, you can to a degree, and you have a responsibility to make sure that they have an environment that is comfortable and proper safety precautions are followed. And we have. The building is cleaned every single day, thoroughly, top to bottom. We have the ability to social distance as much as you would like. But at the end of the day, some of our employees ride in cars together. They drive together. They
Right.
sit together. They go to lunch together. If they're going to sit 5 feet apart, they're going to sit 5 feet apart. And quite frankly, so be it. Right? We have made the environment as safe as we can make it for everybody involved. But that being said, I don't wear a mask inside the building when I'm talking with you. I also ride in the car with you at least 5, 6, 7, 8 times a week when we're going places. So this, to me, is a challenge that we're faced with. And I don't know how I even really got off on this subject talking about it, but what I will say is, as a small business owner, you have to have people that you can trust. And our team, Toy, Taylor, Gabe, Jen, amazing. We've got some other people on the team that do side projects and things like that for us. But we have an incredible team that we have put together. And at the end of the day, as a small business owner, you have to trust and empower them. Because the real measure of the success as a business owner is that the business performs better in your absence than it does in your presence.
True.
And that's an old kind of test of time. And if you ever want your business to get away from you, you have to be able to duplicate yourself. And so let's say I know I'm going to give 100% effort. And I know that I believe, and Larry, I'll use you as an example, so I don't name anybody else. If I think Larry is 50% as good at doing something that I'm doing, you have a choice. Do you want the 100% or do you want the 50%? And the average entrepreneur is going to say, I need the 100%. But the small business owner is going to say, I need 3 50%ers because their 50% equals 150%. And I'd rather have the effort of 100 people working on my team than me being responsible for everything. So we have done really, really, really well hiring because we haven't done really well hiring. We've hired some people
but
that
also
weren't great.
wouldn't you agree that if it wasn't for COVID and the way that we shifted doing our business to online meetings with clients that we still probably wouldn't take the time off consecutively as we're doing now. We may have taken a vacation for a week, but we wouldn't take a trip for a week and then 2 or 3 weeks later take another trip and another trip and another trip. I think COVID...
We couldn't have.
Right. COVID has given us the ability to look at our business with a fresh set of eyes. And as a result, it's changed the way we do business, which then, as a result, has expanded our horizon. So instead of feeling restricted and
Extreme ownership,
contained by how COVID has changed our business, we've looked at it as it's an opportunity for growth, expansion, and adventure.
Yeah, and we're looking at locations literally all over the world.
As a result.
Right. So we have a trip that we will be planning at some point soon back to Puerto Vallarta. We have 3 people that we've already talked to about positions with NextCore or one of our other companies there.
Right.
And that would have never even been in the realm of possibility if we felt we had to be on site, hands-on with everything. So I still think Jen should produce a T-shirt for us that says ... but then COVID. And on the back, it could say, everything great happened because. And I look at, like, you would have never been on a Zoom meeting. In fact,
I even know how to set up meetings now.
You do?
Kind of. On Google Meetup, I do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You just press add video conferencing.
But I didn't know that.
Right. You're doing fine. No, you're doing great.
Yeah.
But we were all served the same papers.
Yeah.
And it's how you choose to respond to what you were served that makes a difference. But you asked about one thing, so I'll wrap up with this. We have a staff now through lots of mistakes, and rest assured we'll continue to make some. But we've got the best staff. In fact, I will go out and say, my staff is better than your staff, right? We have the best staff in the industry, and the reason why is because they've got to go through the mistakes with us, and they stuck with us through the challenges, and we stuck with them through their challenges and their mistakes. But then COVID made us all stronger, more willing to take leaps and risks. And
I gotta say, honestly, and feel free to disagree with me, but I think you'll agree.
I agree.
Our business is so much stronger now because of COVID. I think like I said, when something negative happens, it births a clarity. I think we've gotten really clear in our business. I feel we're in the best position to grow. We have more strategic planning. We've got more vision. We have a better staff. All of that because of COVID.
Because of COVID. No,
not because of COVID. Because of how we responded.
Yes.
Because as you said, everybody's dealt the same hand with this.
Yeah, and the answer to all the questions of what went fill in the blank in 2020 is COVID.
Yes.
If you say what went terribly wrong in 2020. You will have people that will say COVID. And if they ask us what went incredibly right in 2020, we'll say COVID. And
Right.
again, not to be disrespectful to those that lost their lives or continue the fight or have
For
family
sure.
members that were impacted. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is whatever happens, happens. What you do about it is all you have control over.
Yeah.
And that is extreme ownership. And I want to give just one more incredible shout out to our team.
Yes.
And as we continue to grow and evolve, the only reason we're able to do it is because of the efforts of these incredible people that call Next Core home. And in light of that, I think it's only fair to say I don't know what the future of this Next Core building looks like because of COVID,
Sure.
because of our stance, because of the battle with the city. I mean,
Right.
there's a good chance they're going to come shut us down.
Yes.
And if they do, they do.
Right.
Because we will evolve, we will expand, we will move. Can you come in here for 1 second? We are live. Can I bring you in here while we're live?
Hey.
While we're live.
Yeah, come on. Come back here. So I want to give a shout out. So I said this today. Maybe some of you saw it. Maybe some of you didn't. But our approach, there is a line between whether or not people agree with it or disagree with it, with how we're approaching some of the requirements the city is putting on us. I don't want to say requirements,
Yeah.
restrictions, covenants, shackles, chains. Those are the words I'll use. But I want to give a shout out to someone, and I encourage you on Sunday, August
29th.
29th,
Yeah.
to get your butt to St. Louis. I don't care if you live in Singapore, Dubai. Come to St. Louis on
And
Sunday, August
go to
29th.
Rain.
And go to Rain Restaurant.
REIGN, Washington Avenue,
So
for brunch.
let me just
Brunch is amazing.
share
Yes.
one thing.
We will be there.
What we all want as business owners is someone else to sing our praises, right? We want someone to say, I'm so proud of what you've done, or I'm so pleased with my experience that I want to tell someone else. So what happened to the lady that you see in the picture right now, Dana Kelly, is somebody did that. Somebody was on, and you feel free to interject if I get something wrong, but someone was on a live video that they were doing, and they pulled their mask down to make a comment while on the live video, and then ended the live video. And that was used to shut her restaurant down. Now look, I have very, very strong political beliefs. And I will tell you that I'm pretty vocal about my political beliefs. But here's a statement that is bipartisan. The reality is, this young lady right here is running against our current mayor, has announced her candidacy for mayor for the city of St. Louis.
Yes.
And it's ironic to me that someone in a restaurant where you're allowed to not have a mask on when you're sitting down eating, but you're required for the 11-foot walk to put one on, but that's neither here nor there. Someone that's going against our incumbent mayor was shut down for a single situation of a live video where someone was promoting the business and the great food and the great experience they had. If you think that's right, I'll challenge the first part of that sentence. If you think it's wrong, then show up at Rain on Sunday. This is impromptu, but go there. The best success and revenge that you can help someone achieve is more success. So support her with your dollars, with your money. Next Core will be there in force on Sunday. We're bringing as many people as we can gather, no more than 10 in a party. And we will have masks on for the 11-foot walk to the table, which is by far the most stupid thing I've ever heard in my entire life. But we will be there in compliance and in support. So I encourage you to go out to Rain and listen, guys, support small businesses. We do what we do and we sacrifice what we can sacrifice because we want to create better lives and legacies for our children. And here's a lady that was doing just that, but not only doing that, trying to create a legacy and a cause for change in the city of St. Louis, and flat out, in my opinion, was targeted. So support her, go out, help her be successful with her restaurant, and show the people in power that power is a gift that you are given and it shouldn't be abused, because right now, all over the country, it's being abused, it's being mishandled, and people like Dana Kelly are being mistreated. So I encourage you to step up, step out, go support this and every other small business. Home Depot doesn't need your money. People like Denali Paint, brand new location out in St. Charles. All of the other businesses, the 100 businesses that call NextCore home that are in danger of being shut down by the actions of the city. But just know, if you shut us down in the city, we will take those businesses out of the city. It's our tax dollars that are at risk. I didn't mean to get on a soapbox, but Dana, we love you.
Yes.
I think what happened to you is awful.
Thank you.
But this is our impromptu guest
Dana
tonight.
Kelly.
Dana Kelly, future mayor of the city of St. Louis.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for everything you do.
All right.
All right. Have a good evening.
You have a good evening, too.
See you
Thank
later.
you.
I don't even know how long we've been on the show. Are we approaching an hour?
Oh, yeah, you're past it.
We're past an hour.
Yeah.
So, Larry, you should stop talking. You're over talking, or maybe that's me. But I'm going to give you the final words. I don't know if you have a quote put together or something that you want to share. We didn't talk about that. We kind of ran this from the heart and off the cuff. But I'm going to let you close it out, my friend.
Yeah. So, two things. If anyone is still watching besides Jim's mom, we would love to hear your comments.
And if she sees you you're likely to get a friend request, I apologize.
We'd love to hear your comments about the show. Also, side note, in the next couple weeks, we're going to be developing some type of interactive component where if you have a situation that is challenging to you, whether you're struggling with something, let us know what it is and let us see if we can help change your perspective on it. And then my final thought, and I'll leave you with this quote, is a happy life is a string of happy moments, but most people miss the happy moments because they're so busy trying to get a happy life.
Amen.
This is Larry. That's Jim.
And hey, listen, I couldn't
That's Jen.
imagine that's Jen, but you can't see her. I see just a picture of her every time I look at my phone, and she's got a hat on like this. But I will share this. I think, again, we have the best team that has ever been assembled in this industry. And for those of you that don't know exactly what NextCore does, we are your partner in business for things that you need in the way of branding, marketing, support, space, virtual, and business solutions. Really, any piece of the business wheel that you need to complete so that you can have a smooth ride, that's what NextCore does. And I encourage you to reach out to us for one of two things. Number one, if you or someone you know is in a situation like Dana Kelly, where maybe you feel targeted or that you're doing everything you're supposed to do right and the city is still targeting you, we want to share your message. But the second thing is, if you feel like your business needs a boost or is going through a struggle, I'd love to invite you onto this show to talk about the struggles that you're going through. And maybe one of the companies in our wheelhouse, partners that we have, can help you offer advice and solutions and support. We've got some pretty amazing statistics about the businesses that are impacted once they have an opportunity to come across the NextCore platforms. Hundreds of thousands of exposures for the businesses, increase in revenue and reviews. Those are all just fundamental, basic beginnings. But we want to hear from you, and we want to hear about you. Feel free to reach out to NextCore at 314-635-0500, or you can reach us at hello@thenextcore.com. And then, Jen, I think we probably have do we have any more sponsors we need to share?
Revitalize.
We do have Revitalize. So we want to give a shout out. Look for some exciting new things coming from Revitalize. So I don't even know if the Revitalize promo would be appropriate based on
maybe not
what they have. So let's just say this. Revitalize St. Louis is about to take a new step. Larry and I are grateful and happy to be sitting on the board for Revitalize, and some exciting new things coming from them. But other than that, I think this is an appropriate time to sign off, unless Jen needs more time to stall for me to find the particular moment in time that she is looking for. Whatever it takes. Hey, this is a Supplement Superstore shirt. S2, baby. All right. St. Louis.
Thank you.
Homegrown. We'll see you next week for more of the Jim and Larry, Show.